Well, let's talk about the vaccines. Again, Stephen Miles didn't miss. That's his political brand, so you would expect that from him this morning. But he's saying that the federal government, once again, is in charge of the vaccine rollout and the states do administer it. But when it comes to one subsection, the aged care sector, of which only 30% of residents and staff have been vaccinated, that is entirely of the federal government's remit. So if it's at 30% after 6 weeks, there's real problems there. And we know in Queensland at least that those aged care centres are now going to be locked down for 14 days.
Yeah, that's right. So you can't see your relatives over Easter. Yeah. And if they'd got their acts into gear on the vaccination, you should be able to. And look, we must all think this, that aged care is the absolute priority.
Absolutely.
I'm deeply concerned about where this vaccination program's headed. I don't have confidence in it. I know New South Wales has offered to the feds to help out. I suggest they take up that offer. We're going through GPs. Most GPs I know have pretty full books of appointments in any case, just dealing with regular illness.
And what happens here, and we heard from Charlotte Hespy this morning, a doctor with the Royal College of General Practitioners, is that they're booking all these people in. They're expecting to get these deliveries. Those deliveries aren't turning up. Then they're having to cancel hundreds of appointments. Those people aren't rebooking, so it's undermining their very own rollout. There's problems there, but also the Prime Minister has said yesterday, it's not a race. We're not in a hurry. Greg Hunt this morning saying, we've got record vaccinations. This is accelerating. There is no evidence of this accelerating, and it is a race, particularly for our most vulnerable. I think, Andrew, most Australians would have expected by now, 6 weeks in, that at least frontline workers, the aged care centres would have been vaccinated, and that simply hasn't happened.
Well, there's nothing wrong with just laying it out and saying we're a bit behind target.
Absolutely.
But because of domestic production, we believe we'll be able to get on top of it. I mean, at least just say that. Not everything's fine. That really jars with me a bit. Certainly jars with the state premiers. You could see that again from Gladys Berejiklian this morning, making the bold prediction here, Laura, that the October deadline won't be met. I can't see it being met. I do wonder whether the states need to be more involved and perhaps some pop-up clinics like we have for testing in terms of administering the vaccination. And what you're saying there about the GPs can't rely on the dose coming, that's such a big issue when you have to have that second dose at a certain time, right? So
exactly. So for the Pfizer vaccine, for our viewers at home, it needs to be 3 weeks, up to 6 weeks at the very most. Then the efficacy is not as strong, so you might not be vaccinated if it lags. For AstraZeneca, it's 12 weeks between these doses. And look, that time frame hasn't changed recently. There was some early evidence that it could have been a little bit closer together, but now they're saying 12 weeks. CSL, here in Australia, is meant to be producing 1 million doses a week as of last Monday. Now, Greg Hunt, because of what we've seen over the last couple of days, is very reluctant to give any kind of targets or any kind of firm numbers, but he seemed to be suggesting that he was holding back some of those doses to make sure there were second doses in place. But if we are so sure about our supply and the rollout from CSL, and we're getting 1 million a week, why do you need to hold them back? Get 12 million or 6 million jabs in people's arms and then keep the roll on going. Do you understand what's going on there?
Yeah, I just don't think they're telling us the whole story.
Yep. Well, I've ranted about this this morning, Andrew, so thanks for indulging me. But we will certainly be on it all throughout the day. Thanks so much. But Easter is saved, kind of.
Yeah, but as you say, a lot of people would have cancelled. The Blues Fest is off. It'll leave a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah, it certainly will.